Okay, so now we're on the fourth limb, which is pranayama, or breath. So, what do you have to say about that?
So prana um, actually relates to subtle energy. In Chinese, they call it qi or qi. So, and it's related to the motions of the air. And they say there are, I think, 7 airs within the body. So, and the airs coming in and out of the lungs are just one of the airs. And then you have the airs which are moving through your central nervous system, for example.
Okay.
And then you have the airs which are more related to the mind. But all of them affect
Are you
mental
talking
activity.
about breath? You're talking about oxygen?
We're talking about, no,
Or
air.
are you talking about prana?
Prana. Yes.
We're talking about prana, because
About
prana is energy.
Yes.
So there's energy in food, there's energy in breath,
And there's energy and oxygen.
and energy in
Yeah.
oxygen. And is that the prana you're talking about going through your body? That
Yeah.
7 or 8 different times?
I think, I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
Maybe
But
7
it's-
or 8.
But you still are talking about oxygen
Yeah.
in different places in your body.
No, it's not oxygen.
Oh, what?
Like one of the areas are oxygen because you're using it in the lungs.
Yeah.
But then you have like the central nervous system is also regulated by the airs in your body. So this is also more like subtle air, like the air element itself, as opposed to oxygen O2
Okay.
mixed with nitrogen. And
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
else
yeah.
is.
Okay.
So now the idea with the pranayama is that initially you're also establishing the proper flow in your body because after the asana now all these channels are open nicely, and with the pranayama you want them to flow properly. And eventually the goal of pranayama is actually to stop breathing, because breathing is directly related to the activity of the mind. And in still preparation for meditation you want to eliminate the activity of the mind completely, so that all that energy you can free up into your meditation.
So the highest point of pranayama is like there's these Buddhist monks that are inside of statues, that it's where they've opened the statue and there's like a Buddhist monk that's been there for 60,000 years, or 60,000? I don't know how long. Maybe 6,000 years is probably closer. But he's been he virtually they. You know, in the Western society, we'd say he died in meditation, and they believe that he could still wake up at any point and you know continue living if he wanted to. So, and the place that you're talking about, the highest point of pranayama is there's some kind of balance between the inner and outer breath where it becomes it balances into no breath.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that you could say more about that?
So, by the point where you start practicing pranayama, this is already many years into the Ashtanga process.
Yes.
Like traditionally, as we said in the first talk, or the first recording about yamas, that this system is meant for the Satyug age where people could live up to 100,000 years.
Okay.
And that our duration of life is determined by the amount of breaths we allocated at the beginning. So by reducing the breath, we're extending the duration of life also. And also by reducing the breath, we are reducing the activity of the mind. So
a really good example of that I heard was, you know, a fellow that used scuba diving as an example of life. And there's if these people that rushed around under the water and were breathing heavily, and that the amount of time that they could be on, they used their oxygen up quite quickly,
yeah.
and that they had a much shorter dive than everybody else.
Yes.
So they had to come back up and get back on the boat, and these other people were still out there for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes longer because they were taking their time, they were watching their breath, they were, you know, instead of raja and rushing around, they just actually were doing it from a calm place.
I like that. That's quite a nice analogy.
The other thing, just out of interest's sake, is there's a lot of, I've heard a lot of talk about breatharian. Vegetarian, vegan, breatharian, people that are living off of breath. So, do you have any experience or knowledge around that particular thinking or discipline?
Yeah, your body just needs prana, and you're getting prana from whatever food you eat.
So, you believe that it's possible to be a breatharian?
From sun gazing and from extracting prana out of the
atmosphere. I did
atmosphere.
hear that sun gazing was a part of that. Is so sun gazing, getting energy from the sun to feed yourself.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Do you know anybody that's done that, or do you have any experience yourself?
Well, I have experienced, like when I was like out of the cities and kind of more my meditation, where I had to eat very little, and only like a few fruits a day, and I felt fine. I didn't feel hungry, I didn't feel tired, and I felt always energized, and there is definitely validity in that. Mm.
Excellent. Well, that's good. That's really interesting to me because
Yeah.
that it's popped up. I mean, I just had a conversation about it yesterday. So
There's actually one yogi who they tested, and he claims to have been more than 200 or 300 years old, like living now still,
Mm.
because of his pranayama practice.
Mm.
He could live that long, and also he said that he hasn't eaten for the last 60 years. He didn't drink or eat anything, and they wanted to test him, and then they put him in a lab, and they actually had all these things. And what and under this constant surveillance, so they see nobody sneak anything in,
Mm.
and they actually see how his bladder fills up and then how it empties, and how it, and in this whole time, he didn't eat or drink anything, and he didn't decline in health or nothing, and they were like really scrutinizingly observing him
Mm.
and his bodies and his physiological functions, and so it's definitely possible people like that exist.
Okay. Is there
that
any
live so
kind of
long.
YouTube? So this is there something that we can check with that just to be able to?
Maybe if you Google, man did not eat since 6 years old, or
Oh,
hasn't
really?
eaten in the last 6 years,
Okay.
you should get something related to that.
Okay. Fascinating.
Or even yogi lives a living person more than 300 years, or a living yogi, then you can see like from the pranayama practice, but also extracting prana from the atmosphere. And
Okay.
eating with it. Actually, it's also they have this calorie theory. From everything that you spend, must also equal what you put in. So if you eat 100 calories, then you're able to spend 100 calories.
Yes.
But actually, this is not a proved theory, because it's been shown that people are able to spend more calories than what they're eating.
Yes.
So everybody is actually already taking some prana out. So you're getting calories that you're able to burn, which is not coming from the food.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So
our,
that's also more empirically showing that
Hmm.
we're not just getting our calories from
from food.
food.
It's not
or
coming
water.
from nowhere, so
Yeah.
they have to be getting it from
Exactly.
somewhere. So it's not just based on kilojoule to action and
Exactly.
and the kilojoules that are in food. There is proven that there is other ways to actually get your prana.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else about pranayama that jumps out at you? At this point, we've done the inner work to a degree. We're cleansing, we're purifying, we're learning to concentrate. We're now working into our body, and now we're adding the pranayama techniques into just sitting and doing pranayama, but also our pranayama in our asana. Anything else about the pranayama that's
Well, I think there are two things which kind of come out. One is that this idea of being able to stop the breath or hold the breath up for very long, which I think for many people, if you say people don't breathe for many years at a time, then it's a bit of a far out concept to them. But if you think about it, like I don't really practice physical yoga that much, like personally, and but after a nice hour's worth of yoga class, it's very easy for me to reduce my breath down to 1.5 breaths a minute, very comfortably, which is very low.
Mm.
I think usually we maybe between 30 and 40 breaths a minute, like at rest, just sitting. And then if you're kind of moving around, maybe 60 to 70, 80. But to reduce it to 1.5 breaths a minute is kind of, and being able to maintain that for 10, 20 minutes without, getting dizzy or anything. And I'm not even, somebody who's like, practicing yoga and pranayama every single day. So I can totally imagine how I could, if I just did that for a few months, that every day, that I would probably be able to reduce it to less than 1 breath a minute.
Right, and so
Very
increase maybe a lot of years to your life.
Yes, exactly.
That's the thought.
And then also the mind becomes much cleaner and much
Yes.
more quiet.
Yes.
So, and now you think, if you've been doing this for many years, it's not actually such a far out idea to suggest that you'd be able to go 1 breath a day. But then you also see that your environment also has to facilitate that. Like if you have to sit in your car in rush hour,
that's not going to happen. No.
But if you're living in the forest
Yes.
and you've got nothing to do
Yeah.
except that, then totally you can do it. Yeah. So that's the one thing, and then the other one is that how the action of the breath is related to the action of the mind. And now any of the students can actually experience that, which actually I'll just facilitate like a little meditation in this. Is how. So I'm going to ask you to take, like, first squeeze out the breath out of your lungs and then inhale it. And as you bring inhaling deeply, bring your focus into your mind, and then you just create that vacant space and you keep it as long as possible, and then just observe that emptiness. And then as you exhale, observe how your mind changes through that. So we're going to do that now. We first exhale and then slowly inhale, complete full lung. And then you can slowly exhale. So what I was experiencing was that the mind very quickly just becomes like clean. And then certain things want to enter, but it's very easy to not get involved in them. It's very easy to just push them aside and just focus on that, internal emptiness. And then, but as soon as you start breathing, like if I would just try to do that while just breathing normally, it would be very difficult actually to do that comparatively. So this thing of the controlling the air, the prana, is completely related to the action of the mind and how forceful it tends to be and how easy it is for you to subdue it. So eventually, when you're able to stop the breathing, then it becomes very easy. So if you are able to do this, like hold your breath, let's say for 5 minutes, imagine like where you could get to in terms of subduing your mind.
You can also hold your breath and really allow in all these thoughts and really be focusing on that if you want
You can use it as a reflection also.
You can do that as well, or you can just have a normal everyday mind and let it roll. But it actually lends itself to being, if you want to clear your mind and actually, or some people have an issue with clearing your mind. If you can just focus on the nothingness, it lends itself very well to doing that. You had a phrase that you used is, where the breath goes, the mind goes. What did you say?
Oh, the action of the breath is related to the action of the mind.
Yes, that was it exactly. Okay. Anything else you want to say about pranayama?
I think that's it. Your pranayama practice, according to the Yoga Sutras, is complete once you stop your breathing. That's the goal of the pranayama. So it's also like a preparation, but it's complete once you've attained that.
Stopped your breathing.
Once the breathing has stopped.
For any amount of time or forever?
Well, for a very, very long time.
Okay.
For years at a time, yogis can actually in the Puranas.
So that's the pinnacle of what you're pointing to. Okay. So on a continuum of if you want to shoot for holding your breath forever. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.